Hello, all sentient beings, and welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, where we talk all news, comics, and media related to the... This week, we review Wreckers, Tread, and Circuits, issue number 3. We tell you what shows are leaving Netflix, and we finish up with some TFCon LA updates. Today is Friday, January 14th, 2022. This is episode 268 of Transmissions Alt Mode.
Welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, the podcast that eagerly awaits the You've Got the Touch cover performed with traditional Chinese instruments. I'm your host, Charles, aka Big C, and I'm joined by the excellent Transmissions team. Jeremy, aka Yakko.
Hey, how's it going?
Apollo, aka Robo Apollo.
Hi, everyone.
And Daryl, the Cybertronian Beast.
Howdy. Let's talk Transformers.
All right, as always, we start the show by thanking our Donatreons, those lovely people who support us on Patreon and PayPal. Thank you all so much for continuing to help us out and support the show. And we mentioned it in the toy show, but we are announcing finally the start of our Patreon merchandise rewards going out. So, Jeremy, why don't you give a few more details on that?
Everyone at the $5 level and up will be getting, after 3 months, a sticker. After 6 months, a little mini print of a fake comic cover we had Apollo design for us, and it's homaging, I think we decided it was Avengers number 4 from the 60s, the Jack Kirby cover, and with Transformers, and it looks really great.
Mm-hmm.
And then after 9 months, you get a coffee mug with that image on it. And then after 12 months, you'll get, hopefully it's a set of 3 stickers. You might have to do the cutting yourself if Patreon didn't, if their instructions weren't exactly accurate. But it's basically our Armada / RID 2001 style logo of all of our different, like our main show, Alt Mode, and Donatreons. So all you would have to do is make sure your address is correct in Patreon, and Patreon will handle shipping it out automatically. And for people that haven't joined yet and want to join, the counter starts from your join date. 3 months after that, you get the first thing. So hopefully it works out really well, and then, you know, in future years, we'll probably change out what you get and maybe try to work out how different tiers would get different things. But we're starting out very simply with this first run, and we'll see how well it goes.
All right. And just to let everyone know, we've got the next episode of our Transformers Live Play RPG podcast, Empire of Rust, episode 67, Hefty Sweet Sack. And that will be out this Monday, January 17th. So look forward to that. That's at transmissionspodcast.com/rust. Okay, well, let's jump right into the show with our comic review. And this week we are reviewing Transformers Wreckers, Tread, and Circuits, issue number 3. Written by David Marriott, art by Jack Lawrence, colors by Brittany Peer and Rebecca Nalty, letters by Val Lopez and Jake M. Wood, editor Riley Farmer, and supervising editor Tom Waltz. We've got cover A is Axer, Charging Knockout, and that's by Adam Bryce Thomas with colors by Leonardo Ito. Cover B is Ricochet, Drag Strip, and Hot Shot Racing in the Speedia 500, and that's by Winston Chan. And then the retailer incentive is Mayhem, Skullgrin, Octopunch, and Submarauder Haunting the Wreckers, and that's by Casey W. Collar and Brittany Peer on colors. So, Apollo, which of these 3 covers are you liking?
It's really hard for me to pick which cover I like, but I think I'm going to pick Winston's cover, cover B. I just really like the composition of it and the colors. I just think that's really cool, and like how they're the race lines for the cars racing are, actually colored, which is cool. Like I just really like the movement in this.
Nice. Jeremy, which cover are you going to pick?
This is a hard choice this week. This is like, all these are great. And normally, like, if there's a Casey cover, I just would go for that. But I mean, I don't know. They're all really fun. I think I'm going to also go for Winston's cover. I like the kind of race car poster look, but also the lines coming behind the cars make me think of Tron, and that's always a win. So that's the cover I'm going with.
All right. And Daryl, which cover are you picking?
I am also taking cover B. This was a cover that I was trying to get from my store, and I failed to get. But I really like the way that the cars are drawn on this. I like the racing lines, the colors. It just, I mean, it's a red cover with splashes of color on it, and it just pops. The whole cover pops really well, and it drew my eye right away when I saw the solicitations for this issue. I knew that this Winston cover was going to be the one that I was going to be chasing, and I still chase it.
All right. For me, I guess I'm going to go against the group here, and I'm going to pick the Casey Collar retailer incentive cover. Of course, we're all big fans of Casey Collar. But I just like this. I like the way this cover came out. I like the pretenders in the background and the wreckers in the foreground. I think it's a cool image. So I guess I'm going to be, the odd person out. So.
I mean, you're wrong every now and then.
But not this time. Okay, let's get into the story. The Speedia 500 gets off to a roaring start. Thunderclash gives his squad permission to go all out and try to win the race, while they're watching out for mayhem. That's all Ricochet and Hotshot need to hear so their rivalry can continue. But another racer, Dragstrip, leaves both wreckers in the dust. But the race has only begun. Override and Motorcycles Road Rocket and Sideways get an early lead, with Knockout close behind. As the racers round the first bend in the track, Mayhem member Skullgrin watches from a nearby ridge. As several racers pass, he presses a trigger, activating a bomb that explodes debris on the racetrack. Leadfoot transforms to jump out of the way, while Motorcycle Road Pig manages to avoid the rocks and drive on. But he doesn't get far. Axer, the SecOps bot, secretly working with Mayhem, ambushes Road Pig and snares him in an energy net, causing him to flip over and spin out. As he flies through the air, Octopunch slices him in half with his sword, taking the first casualty of the race. At the finish line, the announcers, Scrounge and Emirate Zeron, have lost the video feed. Head of Security Breakdown tries to broadcast on an emergency frequency to tell all the racers to exit the track and get to a medical area or locate a SecOps officer. But Mayhem has hacked the frequency and nothing can get through. Back on the racetrack, Dragstrip, Ricochet, and Hotshot come to the massive rocks that are blocking the road. At their speed, it will be difficult to avoid a crash. Except Dragstrip has super tight maneuvering that allows him to quickly drive around this debris. Hotshot and Ricochet are still on a collision course, but Hotshot transforms to robot mode and uses his momentum to launch the transforming Ricochet up into the air over the rocks. But they've got bigger problems than the debris. Two more members of Mayhem are on their tail. Thunderblast, riding Slugslinger in jet mode, fires on them from above. They've got Hotshot right in their sights and blast him with a direct hit. But Hotshot is down, but not out. Before they can finish the job, Aileron slams Slugslinger in midair, knocking Thunderblast to the ground. Thunderclash doesn't have time to avoid Oh, Thunder Blast doesn't have time to avoid Thunderclash driving at top speed, who crashes into her, crushing her between his front grille and the rock debris. Thunder Blast is banged up, but still online and angry. She aims her missile launcher at Thunderclash as he drives on, but she's interrupted by all the other racers continuing to drive on, and she misses her shot. With all of Mayhem exposed, the Wreckers and the other Speedia 500 racers team up to fight and race. Thunderclash confronts Octopunch, stopping him from attacking any more racers. But Thunderblast is still online and has her missile launcher ready again to take out Thunderclash. But just then there comes Leadfoot from behind. He drives up and transforms into robot mode to deliver a punch, knocking her down and the weapon out of her hand. In the air, Aileron still needs to deal with Slugslinger. She sees Hotshot on the ground, a little dented, but still online. She tells him she needs him for her next attack. She transforms to robot mode, grabs Hotshot by the arms, and flies him up directly above Slugslinger. Then she lets him drop. Hotshot poses for the camera right before he crash lands directly onto Slugslinger, crushing his fuselage with a punch. The race is still going on, and Mayhem members Axer and Submarauder have not been caught and are far enough ahead that they can still disrupt the race. Thunderclash and the other Wreckers are far behind, so they can't catch up. But Thunderclash has an idea that he can execute with new friend Leadfoot's help. Time to go car surfing. Thunderclash bounces on top of Leadfoot as he joins the racers that have continued on. As they get closer, Thunderclash makes his move. He jumps from racer to racer to get closer to the last Mayhem members. Axer and Submarauder see they don't have much time left. They fire their weapons and take out the race leaders Override and Road Rocket. But Knockout continues on, now in the lead. Axer continues his pursuit while Thunderclash tackles Submarauder and stops his rampage. Just then the security ops bots all show up, but they don't listen to Thunderclash telling them that Submarauder is in Mayhem. They do surround him and say they'll sort things out, but in the confusion, Submarauder secretly exits his Pretender shell and escapes. With all the other racers stopped by SecOps, Knockout is the last bot standing, but Axer is still on his tail. Axer reveals his motivation for stopping the Speedia 500. The speed-based discrimination on Velocitron makes life unbearable for mode lock bots like him. So he's going to put a stop to it, since bots like Knockout only care about winning, not about the bots who live on Velocitron. Knockout admits he cares about winning, which is why it's lucky that his boyfriend Breakdown is head of security and here to save the day. Breakdown blasts Axer at point-blank range. Knockout continues his race and crosses the finish line alone. Knockout is the new first senator of Velocitron. All the other bots, Wreckers, racers, and the SecOps team bring up the rear a little later, but the operation was pretty much a disaster. Mayhem got away, 2 bots dead, 1 in stasis lock, and several others injured. The race is over and Mayhem is in the wind. What can the Wreckers do now? And we will see in the exciting conclusion in the final issue of Wreckers, Tread, and Circuits, coming very soon. You probably already have it. If you're listening to this podcast this week, it's already on store shelves, so check it out. I thought this was a pretty good issue. This is pretty exciting. The way the whole race took place and how they had the big battle on the racetrack and all the racers joining in and everything happening so dynamically. I think the art was really well done. The whole, very dynamic, the entire issue. And I thought it was just a really well paced, well choreographed issue all around. Of course, I mean, the issue 4 comes out this week, so I won't mention any spoilers for issue 4, but this sets up a very interesting conclusion with the race, all the elements of the race happening, and then Mayhem actually getting away. One thing I was a little bit I'd like just a tiny bit of exposition as to what's going on with the Pretenders. Like, we have no we got no explanation about Pretender shells or anything, but they're, he's just casually used here. We don't know why the Pretenders look like they do, why they have Pretender shells or anything like that. I mean, it doesn't require, I guess, a big explanation or anything, but Pretenders are pretty weird for Transformers, and to just have them plopped into the story without any explanation as to what they are or why they're built that way kind of bothers me a little bit. But I mean, it's okay. It's not a big deal, but it's still something I'd like to have explained a little bit. Other than that, I think the issue was really good and really fun and a nice, exciting issue. Daryl, what did you think of this comic?
Well, I enjoyed it for the most part. Right off the bat, I want to say I was really hoping that the race was going to last more than this single issue. That I think I said it last time we talked about this series, that I really was kind of thinking that this would be kind of like the Phantom Menace in comic book form, where the whole story kind of takes place during the race. And I thought that you could really do something kind of fun with something like that. Having the race contained to essentially half the book, or maybe I guess 3/4 of the book. It'll be interesting to see what they do with the rest of the series. But I liked all the action. The action was great. It was drawn really well. I liked the fact that they killed characters. I mean, that's Wreckers 101 right there, is to make the, keep the stakes high. And if you kill some characters, make them dead and keep them dead. Yeah, I liked that. I want to see, similarly to you, I do want to see more from the Pretenders. The Pretenders that we have seen, they seem to be more, their likenesses seem to be more from the Prime Master figures we got. I guess it was the Battle. I don't know what they were called. Like, they weren't Pretenders at that time, whatever they were actually called.
Yeah, I think they were called Prime Masters or something. Yeah, because they were like the little figures with the little Prime characters inside of them.
Yeah. So the likenesses are taken from that, but they also seem to have taken the same stature as well. So they're tiny little guys. And back in the original days of Pretenders, they were big figures, like they were large. I kind of don't like the idea that all these guys are just little dudes with little suits causing a lot of ruckus. But
mayhem.
Well, yeah, I guess. But I the action in the book was quite nice. It was good to see. And, there's obviously is a lot, still left to play out. I did like the fact that Scrounge got a line, 2 lines, maybe more, in this book. I think Jeremy would probably know better than I would, but it might be the only time, or the first time since his original first appearance in the Marvel 17, I think it was, that he actually got a line. So, that's a lot of, that's some history for you right there. But all in all, it was a decent book, a lot of action, and it was drawn really well. Jack's a really talented artist.
Yeah, not only that, you see Scrounge's magic, fingers coming out.
Feeling my, I was gonna bring all that up. His special arm.
Yeah, well, I'll throw it to you, Jeremy. What did you think of this book?
No. It was. I thought this was a lot of fun. I had a smile on my face as I was reading it, and even looking back at it. I agree with Daryl. I wish that the race had taken more issues, but knowing that this is a mini series with limited page count for the whole series, that you do what you can. But yeah, it would have been nice if like more of the whole ongoing story could have taken place during the race. But yeah, I thought for the most part, the choreography, you could keep up with what was happening. There was a couple times I had to kind of reread and try to figure out exactly what was going on with some of these background characters that we aren't really connected to. But I thought it was great that, like Daryl said, people died. And that was, that's in a Wrecker's book. You need to have that happen. And I love the use of the Pretenders. And I'm wondering if this all goes back to that whole Iron Hope thing that, got all the characters mode locked. And maybe the ones in the Pretender suits are also mode locked. And this is kind of how they're overcoming it. So that was great. I love that Scrounge got speaking lines. That was great. And then when I saw that, his special arm is the microphone. That's amazing. So if I were able to get any pages of this, from, if I were able to buy that from Jack, I would get that page with Scrounge and, using where they're using the microphone. That would be amazing. I'm looking forward to where this is going. It's definitely not the Wreckers, like from the last stand of the Wreckers, but from where my worries when we first saw the announcement and like the preview pages have all, I'm not worried. This is a great book. I like this Wreckers team. I am totally on board with even more stories with this team, assuming they survive the next issue, which I haven't read yet. So yeah, this is just a lot of fun.
Cool. And Apollo, what did you think?
I really enjoyed this. I've enjoyed this miniseries so far, though. Like, I like the storytelling and I like the cast of characters. I really liked the action sequences in this. It was overall, for me at least, really easy to follow what was happening. And I just really like Jack Lawrence's art and enjoy seeing him getting the draw for Transformers again. And I like just the little small things, with like, doing the wreck and rule and then like punching. It's just really cool stuff like that. Just to echo what everyone else has said, this isn't the previous Wreckers, but I do like this cast of characters. I'm looking forward to seeing how this ends. I also really liked Knockout and Breakdown's brief interaction during this comic. So I thought that was fun too.
Yeah, I mean that's something that's continuing from. Started with Transformers Prime, then when we had the comic series Till All Are One that reintroduced Knockout and Breakdown and introduced them as Conjunct Endura in a relationship there. I think that was Margaret Scott was writing there, and that was a nice little addition to their characters, and we're bringing that forward in this new universe and new series. So it's cool to see that added wrinkle in there. Cool. Well, that is our review of Wreckers, Tread and Circuits, issue number 3. And we'll move on to media news.
All right. In media news this week, we alluded to it in the intro, but there's a official Hasbro China video that has the G1 Transformers theme being played with traditional Chinese instruments. You can watch it here on the show notes. We've got it linked. There's the original video on Weibo, or there's a YouTube mirror here as well. So take a look. There's a bunch of ways to watch it, but it's really cool. There's 7 people playing traditional Chinese instruments, and it's really neat. So take a look at that. And the last thing we got is that there are 4 Transformers shows that are leaving Netflix this year. It was bound to happen eventually, but it's one of those things that's kind of a pet peeve for me when it comes to streaming. But the 4 shows that you're going to want to watch or finish watching before they leave Netflix are Transformers Prime, Transformers Rescue Bots, Transformers Robots in Disguise, and Transformers Rescue Bots Academy. When it comes to streaming, I guess you always take for granted the fact that these shows could always leave at any point in time. At least they're giving you, a bit of a heads up, because these are going to, be taken off of Netflix in February. So, you're going to want to get them done, before then. But it does kind of suck that, you sometimes in my own head, I think, I've paid for these streaming services. These are now accessible to me always. And it's not the case. All these streaming services have to kind of organize contracts with the companies that hold the rights to the shows. And, these contracts expire and then they can't show the shows anymore. So they, have to be taken off of the streaming services. So that's generally how they work. There are other ways to watch these shows. Obviously, Tubi TV is one of the really big ones out there that generally just has access to all this stuff and puts it out there. I haven't really confirmed whether these 4 are available on Tubi TV, but if not, you can always hope that these shows will be uploaded to the Hasbro YouTube channel, which is someplace that most of this stuff kind of ends up, in its a post-streaming life. And if that's the case, then they'll be accessible to everybody. But
they are not on Tubi as of yet.
Okay.
Transformers Prime is seasons 2 and 3.
Oh,
so
weird.
I would imagine that's going to be the home for these, and then we'll get random episodes on the YouTube channel.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's it. That's all I had for media news this week, guys. Back to you, Charles.
Okay, and we'll finish up the show with convention news.
All right, we have a bunch of TFCon LA announcements. First is Josh Burcham, comic book artist and colorist. He's doing the Beast Wars series right now. He will be attending TFCon LA. Also, Vince DiCola, composer for Transformers the movie and Rocky IV and, bunch of other stuff, Transformers Angry Birds. He will also be there. It says he'll have a Q&A panel and autograph session. So they've had concerts in the past. It didn't mention it, so I would probably say there's probably not going to be a concert, but awesome to see him there. And then also Daniel Riordan, who was the voices of Megatron, Galvatron, and Omega Prime from Transformers Robots in Disguise 2001. So nice seeing voice actors from that show that we will never see released because of stupid licensing deals. You talk about the Netflix thing. This show is a whole mess. But yeah, great seeing him there. I wonder if we're going to see like Neil Kaplan in the future, because he's been in a lot of stuff since then. But anyway, those are the updates we have this week. TFCon LA is March 11th through 13th. So I'd imagine we're going to be getting more and more as we get closer.
All right. And that will take us to the end of this episode of Transmissions Alt Mode. Apollo, thanks again for joining us this week, and let everyone know where they can find you online.
Hi, you're welcome. Thanks for having me on. I always enjoy talking Transformers with you guys. So you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at RoboApollo. I am an artist, so I do post art on there, and I do open up commissions sometimes. I took a break over the holidays, though, from working on art. But, if I do open commissions again, I'll be posting that information soon. I also am very active on the Transmissions Discord server, and on Wednesday nights, there's an unofficial gathering hangout session that happens in the Transceivers channel, where we just do our own little mini trips to the store and just hang out. And I try to jump on those when I can. So looking forward to discussing Transformers with you.
All right. And before we end the show, we always give a shout out to our Masterpiece Donatrions. These are the folks who continue to support the show at our highest level, so they deserve a shout out in every episode. So thank you to John Forex Levengood, Dinobot Maximize, Demon Tech 82, and Curtis Akan. And last thing, to just remind you to help out the show another way, if you buy some merchandise from our TeePublic store, that's at transmissionspodcast.com/shop. We've got lots of cool shirt designs and masks and other merchandise. Of course, you buy anything from TeePublic through our link, that will help out the show. So that'll do it for this episode of Transmissions Alt Mode. Thanks everyone for listening, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Later.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Transmissions. If you'd like to join the conversation, travel to our Discord channel at transmissionspodcast.com/Discord. Want some cool transmission swag? Feast your eyes on our transmissions gear at transmissionspodcast.com/shop. If you'd like to support our podcast, go to transmissionspodcast.com/support or tell your friends about our show. We'll see you next time.